This is my editorial mood board. So this idea initially came from one we did in class, and this was the first face chart that I did, and this was the first look that I did on Morgan. I was really inspired. The idea initially came because I was inspired by gelatine, and I really like the ripple effects that it creates and the fact that it looks like teardrops, 3D teardrops on the skin. So then when I was applying these and playing with the gelatin, I knew it was something that I wanted to use. So when I started to make the teardrops, it reminded me of like a French Renaissance, of clowns, and then Commedia dell'arte. So that's where I started to base my research from. With this first look, what I initially did was I intended to use spirit gum to stick the gelatine onto the lips. But because I found out that the gelatine mixture was too heavy and that the spirit gum wasn't strong enough to stick on the lips, I then decided to stick it onto the forehead and do a snogged lip on Morgan, which I really liked. And I was inspired by one of our demonstrations cut creases, which I'll put more information about in my essay. So that's where the blue cut came from, and the light cut crease on the eye. I also experimented using instead of gelatine, using liquid latex on the leaves, but I didn't like the effect. It looked too crunchy, and it just did not sparkle the way that I wanted it to. So then from an order from Pat McGrath, I got all these sequins, and I really liked them because they were pretty, and using the pearls as well. So this was just a piece that I made to experiment and to see what it looked like, and I really liked the effect. So then, taking my inspiration from this look, I then went on to create this look, and spent a lot of time experimenting with different glitters for the gelatine and finding which one I liked and which one I thought was the thick ones didn't come out as great. The glitters didn't stick to it very well. The thin ones, I didn't like the texture, and I didn't like. They didn't stand out as much. But with this glitter that I found, I liked the combination of really thin glitter with thicker glitter. And I also wanted this piece for an editorial look. This wouldn't be suitable on a runway because with the pieces, I stuck them down with Prozade because I found that to be a stronger glue. But I wouldn't want to put this on a runway because I feel like under the hot lights with the model sweating, the pieces might fall off and then it would lose its look. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a look that I could pitch to Illamasqua to use on one of their campaigns. So then what we could do is take this, because I looked at their website, and you can click on their different campaigns and it shows you the image. But then if you click on this little eye bit there, it shows you the product that was used. And I really liked that idea, and I thought that then this is something that if it was photographed and published on Illamasqua's website, you could then click it and see what product had been used. But I really liked the snog lip, so what I did for the look was then to incorporate the French Renaissance theme, was to take it and make it into a heart shape. And then by adding a little bit of gold, my pieces on the day were gold and silver leaves rather than this bright colour. This was just experimentation. The reason I had the gold and silver was I wanted the makeup to be bold, bright pinks, bright blues, to stand out on the model's face, but then I didn't want it to be an overload of colour, which I felt, this was the image I recreated on myself, and I felt that it was just too much colour. And then I wanted, instead of blocking the brows out, I didn't want there to be brows on this piece, but I wanted the brows gone. So I used the eyebrow pieces to cover up the brows rather than keeping to my original one, which was on the lips. And I really liked it because it sort of looked like a crown, which was sort of like this image in a sense, where with the French Renaissance there was a lot of flowers and they were all in the hair and adorned, and I kind of wanted to recreate something similar but with my own twist on it. So then this is my how-to guide, so that another MUA could pick it up and know what products to use, which are always on the side. I've also written a little bit about what my inspiration was and how I would want this, and I've also put in that the brow pieces and the gelatine are to be pre-made before the shoot, because the brows are made from, so the leaves were covered in gelatine so that they glistened, but the glitter and the pearls and the sequins were stuck down with bowl cap plastic, and these need roughly a few days just to really set and harden, because I found that if I took them off too early, then the bowl cap plastic would sort of, it wouldn't set properly, and then there were pieces missing and stuff, but it was very easy to fix, but they just needed a couple of days just to really set and be firm. These are my final images, and then this is my model consent form.